There is something I need you to hear right now, and I want you to hear it with the full weight of everything you carry in your chest. Because at this very moment, without you even realizing it, a woman in your life may be sending you signals so subtle, so quietly powerful, that you are walking right past them. And you have no idea what she is actually trying to give you. Stop for just a second and really listen to this. If you have ever found yourself wondering whether a woman truly wants to open herself to you, emotionally, mentally, and at a depth that goes all the way to the soul, then this is the moment you finally learn the truth. Stay with me until the very end because there is something critically important you need to understand before you make any move with her. And before we go deeper into this, make sure you hit the subscribe button and like this video so you never miss the kind of psychology that most men never get access to in their entire lives. You are about to step inside her internal world. The world she guards carefully from almost every man she has ever met. The world where her body language shifts without her permission. Where her tone softens in ways she cannot control. Where her instincts pull her toward you even when she is trying to hide that pull behind confidence, humor, or a carefully constructed kind of distance. You see, women do not confess attraction the way most men expect them to. They reveal it through tiny cracks in their emotional armor. Through patterns they quietly hope the right man will be perceptive enough to understand and recognize. And maybe you are that man. But the problem is that nobody ever taught you how to read what she is silently offering you. A woman does not give herself lightly. When she does begin to open, it is because something in you has awakened something deep inside her. A sense of safety, a current of desire, a feeling of being respected and seen with a clarity that she has not found elsewhere. An unexplainable pull that she cannot fully rationalize even to herself. And before you assume this is about physical signals or surface-level attraction, stop right there. This is about something far deeper. This is about the specific kind of energy she radiates only toward a man she trusts with the softer, more vulnerable places within herself. Places she has protected her entire life. What you're about to learn is going to feel like someone finally turned the light on in a room you have been moving through in complete darkness for years. So take a breath right now. Let go of the confusion. Let go of the overthinking. Let go of constantly second-guessing whether she likes you or whether she sees you as just another man who will eventually disappoint her the way others have before. Let me guide you through the hidden currents of female psychology, through the signals she is quietly offering because she wants you to step closer, not drift away. Stay right here because this is exactly where your clarity finally begins. She wants you closer, but she will never tell you that directly. Instead, she lets the truth leak through the smallest behaviors, the ones she's quietly hoping you will notice without her having to expose her heart completely in one vulnerable moment. When a woman begins wanting to give herself to you emotionally and mentally, her guard does not collapse all at once. It softens, it bends, it flickers at the edges. And those flickers are precisely what most men overlook, because they have been conditioned to expect loud confessions, obvious moves, or dramatic, unmistakable declarations. But attraction at the female psychological level does not announce itself with a spotlight. It whispers. It reveals itself through instinct rather than intention, through reactions she does not fully understand herself. And if you do not know what you are looking for, you will miss some of the most powerful and intimate signals she is capable of giving you. The first signal lives in how she prioritizes her time. And time, for a woman who is emotionally self-aware, is the most honest currency she possesses. She does not give it carelessly. When a woman begins reorganizing her schedule, her energy, her presence around you, that is not a coincidence. That is a choice being made at a level deeper than she may even consciously recognize. She will find ways to extend conversations that should have ended 10 minutes ago. She will show up to things she might have skipped, simply because she knows you will be there. She will carve out moments from a life that is genuinely full and genuinely busy, because being in your orbit has started to feel like something she does not want to miss. Pay attention to her time. It tells you everything her words are not yet ready to say. The second signal is in what she chooses to share with you, and this one is more layered than most men realize. When a woman begins offering you personal details about her life, not the polished, presentable version of herself she shows to the world, but the real things, the complicated things, the things she usually keeps carefully tucked away, she is doing something profound. She is testing the space between you to see if it is safe. She might tell you about a difficult relationship she had years ago. She might mention something about her childhood that she rarely discusses. discusses. She might share a worry about her career or a fear about the future that she has not spoken aloud to anyone else. None of this is accidental. Every personal detail she offers you is a small key. She is handing you the keys one at a time to see whether you will handle them carefully or whether you will drop them without realizing their weight. Most men receive these moments and simply move the conversation forward without understanding what just happened. The right man pauses. He acknowledges what was shared. He responds in a way that says, "I heard you, and what you told me matters to me." That response, that simple act of genuine reception, is what makes her want to hand you another key. The third signal lives in her body, and it operates entirely below the level of conscious thought. When a woman feels a deep pull toward a man, her body becomes a quiet messenger for everything her voice has not said yet. You will see it in the way she listens to you with a quality of presence she does not offer to everyone. You will feel it in the way her eyes linger a moment longer than necessary, not from a place of performance, but from genuine emotional curiosity about who you are and what you carry inside you. She will begin mirroring your energy without realizing she is doing it. Your pace of speaking, your rhythm of thought, your sense of humor will start appearing in the way she engages with you. That is not imitation. That is alignment forming underneath the surface of her awareness, in the place where the deepest forms of connection actually live. She will lower her voice when she talks to you. Her expression will soften in a way she is not managing or performing. She might touch her hair, not as a calculated move, but because her body is responding to your presence by wanting to feel open rather than guarded. Even her breathing changes when she is near you. It becomes slower, deeper, more settled. These shifts are entirely instinctual. They are not strategy, they are truth. Her body is telling you what her words are not yet ready to confirm. The fourth signal is in what she remembers, and this is where her emotional investment becomes impossible to hide, even from herself. A woman who is beginning to open herself to you will remember things about you that you barely remembered sharing. The name of the project you were stressed about 3 weeks ago. The food you mentioned once in passing that you loved as a kid. The dream you brought up casually in the middle of a longer conversation. The small anxiety you mentioned once at an odd hour. She remembered all of it. Because when a woman begins to care about a man at a level that matters, she stops hearing his words as information and starts hearing them as pieces of a person she wants to understand more completely. She stores those pieces carefully. She returns to them. She asks follow-up questions days or weeks later that let you know she was paying a quality of attention to you that goes far beyond ordinary interest. This kind of remembering is emotional prioritization. She is not doing it because she has a perfect memory. She is doing it because you have started to occupy a meaningful place in her internal world, and the details of your life have begun to feel worth holding on to. The fifth signal is in how she seeks emotional connection with you specifically. Not conversation in general, not company in general. Your conversation, your company. She will initiate exchanges that go beyond the surface. She will ask you questions that require you to think before you answer. She will share her own opinions, her own doubts, her own philosophical meanderings, in a way that invites you to meet her there at that level. She is not looking for small talk with you. She is looking for the kind of dialogue that makes her feel genuinely less alone in whatever she is navigating inside herself. And when she finds that with you, when a conversation with you leaves her feeling understood in a way that is rarer than she expected, she will keep coming back to create more of it. Because that feeling of being truly met by someone is one of the things women are most quietly hungry for and least willing to admit to wanting. You will also notice a specific shift in how she responds when your attention moves elsewhere. She will not show jealousy in a dramatic or obvious way, especially if she is working hard to keep her feelings from becoming too exposed too soon. But you will see subtle changes. Her energy will quiet slightly. Something in her expression will shift for just a moment. She might pull back a fraction, not to punish you, but because something inside her has registered the movement of your focus away from her and responded with a sensitivity she did not entirely plan for. Women only experience this kind of emotional reactivity when they are genuinely open to a man in a way that has already moved past the surface. It is not about control. It is about the fact that her investment in the connection has grown faster and deeper than she expected, making her more attuned to where your attention goes. The sixth signal is in how she begins including including you in the architecture of her future, even in small ways. She will mention something she wants to do and include you in the mental image without making a formal invitation. She will reference a place she has never been and say something like, "You would love it there." She will bring up a plan that is months away and naturally reference your presence in it as though it is already assumed. These small moments of future inclusion are not careless. A woman who is protecting her emotional investment does not casually put someone inside her vision of what comes next. When she does it, even once, even briefly, it means you have already taken up residence in a part of her internal world that she does not open to just anyone. She is not planning the future out loud. She is showing you that you are already in it, in the quiet place where she does her most honest thinking. Now here is the part that most men never address, and it may be the most important thing in everything you are hearing right now. The biggest mistake men make when a woman is sending these signals is one of two extremes. Either they miss them entirely and do nothing, allowing the window to close quietly, while the woman eventually concludes that he is simply not perceptive enough to handle what she was offering. Or they notice the signals and immediately accelerate, pushing for more than the moment was built to hold, which causes her guard to come back up faster and harder than it came down in the first place. The man who gets this right does neither. He receives what she is offering with awareness and steadiness. He does not perform excitement. He does not pretend not to notice. He simply shows up more fully, more consistently, more intentionally in response to what she is quietly extending toward him. He creates an environment where her opening feels safe to continue rather than something she needs to protect herself from. That is the response she is hoping for without ever being able to say so directly. There comes a moment in a woman's internal world when her desire for you stops being a feeling and becomes an instinct. You will not always be able to point to the exact second it happens, but you will feel it in the way the energy between you shifts into something that has more gravity than it did before. Something that pulls without force. Something that feels, to both of you, like it was already inevitable. One of the most revealing hidden signs appears when she begins letting you see the full range of who she is, not just the version she is comfortable presenting. Some days she is warm and gentle. Other days she is sharp and funny and slightly chaotic. Some moments she is uncertain. Some moments she is the most certain person in the room. This shifting between different sides of herself in your presence is not inconsistency. It is intimacy. A woman only reveals the full spectrum of who she is to a man she trusts with the complexity of being human. She is showing you all of her because deep down she is hoping you will find the full picture more interesting than the edited version, and that you will stay for all of it rather than only the parts that are easy to be around. She will also begin protecting the connection between you in ways that seem quiet but are actually deeply significant. She will be selective about who she discusses you with, not because she is hiding you, but because she has learned from experience that outside opinions have a way of distorting what is still forming. She wants to protect the energy between you from being shaped by people who are not inside it. She guards the private moments you share. She becomes more mindful of how her actions might land in your perception of her. None of this is manipulation. All of it is care. And a woman only becomes this careful with something she already believes has real value. She also begins letting you influence her in ways that feel effortless rather than obligated. She genuinely considers your perspective. She tries something you mentioned. She returns to advice you gave her and acknowledges that it was right. This kind of openness to influence is deeply personal for a woman. She does not allow it with men she sees as temporary or as presences that do not genuinely matter to her. She allows it when she respects a man, admires the way his mind works, and quietly hopes he will occupy a larger and more significant role in her life than the one he currently holds. There comes a point where her desire for you begins running ahead of her logic. Her emotions move faster than her carefully constructed defenses can keep up with. And one of the clearest signs this is happening is when she begins sharing the small, consistent details of her daily life with you. Not because she needs to, not because the information is important in any practical sense, but because she has started wanting you woven into the texture of her ordinary days. She will send you something funny she saw that reminded her of a conversation you had. She will mention a small frustration she encountered and feel better just from telling you about it. She will share a small victory that she knows you will understand the significance significance of in a way that others might not. This is what emotional integration looks like before it has been named. She is weaving you into her world, thread by thread, without announcing what she is doing. She becomes especially attuned to your emotional state. When something is weighing on you, she feels it before you say a word. When you are quieter than usual, she notices and checks in without making a production of it. Her intuition around you sharpens because she is paying attention to you at a level that she is not paying to others. A woman only taps into that quality of emotional sensitivity with a man she feels connected to at a depth she does not yet have language for. Her support becomes one of the most telling signals of all. She encourages you when you are doubting yourself. She remembers your goals and asks how they are going. She stands beside you in conversations, validates your perspective, and offers her strength to yours without keeping score. This is what it looks like when a woman quietly decides she wants to be someone's soft anchor. She does not do this for a man she sees as a temporary presence in her life. She does it when she feels a pull towards something meaningful with him. When she senses that investing in him might be one of the best decisions she has made in a long time. But perhaps the most revealing signal of all is when she lets you see her vulnerabilities without dressing them up. When she tells you she is overwhelmed and trusts that you will not use it against her. When she admits to an insecurity she has worked hard to conceal from the world. When she shares a fear about love that she has never spoken aloud before. These moments are not slips. They are offerings. A woman who lets you see the unguarded, unsanded parts of herself is telling you, without using these words, that she is hoping you will step into a deeper role in her life. Not stand at the surface of it, not observe from a comfortable distance, but actually step inside. And here are the final signs, the ones that live deepest and mean the most. She starts matching your effort without being asked or pressured. She initiates, she follows through. She makes space for you in her energy, even on the days she has very little to give. She becomes more patient with you than she is with almost anyone else. Not because she has lowered her standards, but because something in her has quietly decided that you are worth the extra grace. Her presence around you becomes more intentional. She is not drifting through your company. She is choosing it consciously, even when the choice is not convenient. She also starts asking you deeper questions about your values, your vision, your sense of what a meaningful life looks like. She is not interrogating you, she is aligning herself. She is trying to understand whether the version of you she is already drawn to matches the deeper version she is beginning to imagine. When a woman explores your internal world with this quality of curiosity, she is already imagining what genuine closeness with you would feel like. She is already in some quiet internal corner, hoping the answer is yes. The truth that most men never realize until it is already too late is this. When a woman reaches the point where she wants to give herself to you, she is not only experiencing attraction, she is experiencing certainty. A quiet, steady, deeply rooted certainty that forms when she trusts your character, when she genuinely values your presence, and when she believes that you see her with a quality of clarity and attention that she has not found in many other places. That certainty does not arrive loudly. It arrives the way the best things always do, quietly, steadily, and in a way that by the time you notice it has already changed everything. She starts imagining what life feels like with you genuinely in it, not as a visitor, not as someone passing through, but as a constant. She thinks about your energy in her space, the way your voice would sound in her most ordinary moments, the particular comfort of your steadiness when things outside her control get heavy. A woman only allows her mind to wander into that kind of future when she feels emotionally safe with a man. And safety for a woman has nothing to do with dominance or control. It has everything to do with consistency, with being seen, with the specific experience of someone showing up the same way, day after day, until she can finally let herself believe that the showing up is real and will continue. When you see these signals in the woman in your life, do not rush, do not push, do not let your own uncertainty drive you to force something that is already unfolding at exactly the pace it needs to. Respond with maturity, with presence, with the kind of emotional steadiness that tells her, without you having to say a single word, that you are capable of handling the full weight of what she is quietly extending toward you. She is not looking for a perfect man. She is looking for a consistent one, a self-aware one, a man who listens not just with his ears but with his full attention. A man who stays steady when things get complicated. A man who makes her feel that opening herself was not a risk she will end up regretting. If something shifted inside you while you were listening to this, pay attention to that shift. It means you are beginning to understand what women rarely say out loud, but are always hoping the right man will somehow already know. Take a breath, stand a little taller in who you are, and step into the version of yourself that is ready to meet her where she actually is. Not where it is easy or comfortable or familiar, but where it is real. Every woman who is sending you these signals is doing something extraordinarily brave. She is opening a door she has kept locked for a long time. She is offering access to a version of herself she protects carefully, and she is doing all of it quietly, indirectly, through the smallest and most honest gestures she knows how to make. Because she has learned, through years of experience, that telling a man directly what she feels is a vulnerability she cannot afford to take until she knows he is worth it. So she whispers it instead. She signals it. She lets it leak through the edges of the ordinary moments you share. The only question that remains is whether you are the kind of man who is paying enough attention to hear her.